Welcome back to GBC World News, broadcast in Houston, Texas. I'm Sasha Sonnenwein. Now for what's happening around the world. Peru's outgoing president warns of dark political interests in the face of protests against mining and energy projects in the south.
Police move in on Peruvian protesters demanding an end to mining in the southern region of Puno in a clash that was to prove deadly. The scenes were captured on Friday as the protesters tried to seize control of a commercial airport. Media and hospital reports suggest at least 2 people were killed and a dozen wounded. Peru's outgoing president, Alan Garcia, is appealing for calm and accused the protesters of trying to grab a slice of power in the new government.
Aquí hay oscuros intereses políticos.
There are dark political interests here that are demanding power or that believe the moment has arrived to take over a portion of power in the change of government. What they are trying to do is pressure the next government of Ollanta Humala by issuing threats and forcefully demonstrating.
About 5,000 mostly Aymara Indians have descended on Puno for more than a month to demand the revocation of all mining company concessions, ostensibly over the risk of pollution. Peru's economy is one of the world's fastest growing, but nearly a third of its people are still in poverty. The incoming president campaigned on promises to end the bitter conflicts that pit poor towns against mining and oil companies.
The wife of released Chinese dissident Hu Ji says she is delighted he has been released from jail but has concerns about his health.
Heavy security around the Beijing apartment block of Chinese dissident Hu Jia was the only sign his release from jail had gone ahead as anticipated. Uniformed and plainclothes police officers guarded the entrance and foreign journalists were refused access. Hu did not speak publicly following his release at the end of a 3.5-year jail term. His wife, Sun Jinyan, said he feared that might put him in further trouble, but she told Reuters by telephone that she was worried an existing liver condition may have worsened.
Before he went into prison, he had early-stage cirrhosis of the liver. At the moment, we really don't know how serious the cirrhosis has become because we don't have a written report. He has been to the hospital for a checkup, and he is already taking antiviral medication.
Hu, seen here in file footage, was convicted on a charge of inciting subversion of state power in 2008 after criticizing human rights restrictions in China. He's been reunited with his family just days after prominent artist and activist Ai Weiwei was suddenly released from detention. Human rights watchdogs say Hu's release from jail at the end of his term may simply mean another form of government detention under house arrest. China's Communist Party has been clamping down on dissidents since February in response to fears that uprisings across the Arab world could also inspire challenges to its rule. Many of those detained in the drive have been ordered to stay silent after their release.
The Danish parliament on Friday passed legislation saying that all criminal foreign nationals will be automatically deported, regardless of the severity of their prison sentence. The law was passed with a vote of 97 against 7.
We have wanted to send 2 clear signals. On the one hand, if people are in your country as guests or as foreigners, they should not commit crimes. And on the other hand, this country needs foreigners to come here and to participate in society. And this is why we also have liberalized quite a lot since I was appointed as Minister for Integration.
In the future, foreign nationals who have been convicted of crime will be deported after a prison sentence. Currently, it is merely a possibility.
The only people who will be sent out of the country are people who are condemned to jail. And in this country, to be condemned to jail is actually quite an offense. And secondly, you still have the international human rights who apply, so there is international standards for proportionality.
One of the few people opposing the legislation was Johan Schmidt-Nielsen from the Red-Green Alliance. Human rights organizations are critical of the legislation and have warned that Denmark risks losing cases before the European Court of Human Rights. Schmidt-Nielsen said the political majority was aware of this but went ahead anyway. Peter Skorup of the anti-immigrant Danish People's Party welcomed the result.
There is a group of people committing a very tough crime, and I don't think we should accept that. We should help also the immigrants who behave themselves by sending the criminals out of the country.
Denmark's centre-right coalition has ruled since 2001 with the support of the People's Party, the third biggest group in the Danish parliament. The People's Party have exacted a tightening of immigration law as the price of their support. In their second year of belt-tightening, Greeks reacted in anger on Friday as the announcement of the new round of tax rises and spending cuts worth some 3.8 billion euros was made. Greece has concluded talks with the European Union and International Monetary Fund inspectors on its 5-year austerity plan and will put legislation to Parliament next week, a government spokesperson said on Thursday. A source familiar with the talks in Athens said a deal has been made to close a 3.8 billion euro funding gap in the Greek program, in addition to a 10 to 15% reduction in pensions and salaries over the past year and a half. The raft of measures announced by Finance Minister Evangelos Venizelos has likely to cut average earnings by a further 3 to 4%. People on the streets of Athens who have protested for weeks over the government's plan to carve out savings of $39 billion by 2015 were livid at the measures they said once again failed to tackle rampant tax evasion and corruption. Venizelos said a solidarity tax ranging from 1 to 5% will be slapped on annual incomes over $17,000. The self-employed will be hit with about a $400 levy, and heating oil tax will increase as well. Analysts said that the average annual Greek income of about $28,000. This means over a $1,000 loss, without counting heating costs and the levy on the self-employed. Unions and parties were also quick to slam the measures, saying slapping more and more taxes on the middle class was no way to kickstart an economy which has plunged into deepest recession in 37 years. Unions have announced nationwide strikes for next Tuesday and Wednesday, when the midterm plan goes to Parliament, and huge protests are expected in Athens and other cities. Greece's conservative opposition has maintained a lead over the ruling socialists, with 3/4 of Greeks opposed to new government's austerity package, aimed at avoiding default, an opinion poll showed on Friday. You're watching GBC World News. We'll be right back after this with more world news.